Hello, Gems. This is Sapphire, and I will be your host for the VTuber Voices podcast. Here, we'd like to talk about business, creative growth, and what it's like to be a VTuber. Today, we will be continuing our episode with the lovely Spats. Spats is an animator that has worked in the studio and switched over to be a full-time creative Twitch streamer. In this episode, we cover the struggle of being under NDA when you're working at a studio and how you work around your creativity with that, how to deal with art block during commissions or studio work, how do we get past that mental barrier when there are demands we must meet, and lastly, the famous jack of all trades versus master of one conversation when building an art portfolio. Let's hear what Spats has to say. Yeah, does it get exhausting, like, as a creative to not be able to show off, like, things you've put hours and hours into?
Oh, yeah, I think that is why I am a streamer now.
Yeah.
And I like showing my process and everything I draw because for so long I've had to hide it or wait for it to come out. And a lot of the stuff that I'm super proud of, I can't ever show. I've shown friends that aren't going to say things, but like I can't show it to the public at any point, and it probably won't see, it'll be behind. And the one thing that really grinds my gears about like we're all like, most of the people that are working on the shows, we're all creatives. We have an eye for things. And this is why there's so much backlash for like even or like games or movies or stuff. They're like, why do they look like that? A lot of the decisions are done by executives that don't know freaking anything.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, that's so frustrating.
Like, I like this, and then you have to change a thing. So it's like, like there was one thing I worked on for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And they said, yeah, great. And then like 2 days later, they were like, well, actually, what if they did that? And then it's like, oh my God. And then I had to redo it. I'm getting paid for it, obviously, but it's like every time they would change their mind or, not be, they like,
yeah.
I like that now I'm my own boss because I'm like, and I'm my own, like when you commission me, you're paying for my, I mean, the current model I'm working on right now is on model to what the client wanted, my friend Zoran wanted. And he's the only one that was like, okay, I'll do it on model to what you want. But every other VTuber commission or art style, you're commissioning me for my style.
Yeah.
Not someone else's style.
Yeah.
And I enjoy drawing in my style more and rigging in my style more.
Yeah.
So I like that now that I can work and develop. And I will say that in the last year of working in my own style, it's improved tenfold.
Yeah.
Like so much. Like I could look at something I drew last year and be like, ugh.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. And that leads into another question too. Starhead asked, so what do you do if you experience art block while working on a project, especially a commission? Because that's client work, or in the studio.
I'll say that art block comes more for me on my own personal stuff.
Yeah.
Drawing a VTuber model is pretty straightforward. You don't really get art block because it's just a front thing and rendering.
Yeah.
And detail oriented, and I'm really detail oriented. Like I like working on I think that's why people are like, how could you do this for 80 hours for rigging? And I'm like, I like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, on personal stuff or like animating or even trying to come up with something to animate, that's hard for me. Like getting the idea out of my brain.
Yeah.
Is like the hardest for me. Once I have the sketch done, then it's like, okay, it's pretty easy for me to get to work, but getting that initial idea on paper is the problem for me.
Yep. I struggle in the same area. I'm right there with you, and it's literally just putting your pen down and just like forgetting about them, be like, okay, let's just try it, and if it fails, it's okay, we can fix it. We're artists, we're problem solvers. Heck yeah. All right, so Spiller asks, are you going to put more shows on your About section in your Twitch as the shows get released?
All the shows that I've worked on that I can say I've worked on are there.
Yeah. Yeah, so some shows won't even, like, they won't even let you say?
Well, the ones that I've worked on aren't, like, they don't exist.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Got you.
All, like, yeah, so, if they do, maybe, but, at the moment. Those are the only shows I've worked on. I've worked on, I think, like 1 or 2 other shows that were character design stuff. I don't think I put on there, but the character design stuff I did on that show, the show was like, I'm not interested in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of people that aren't in the industry, or we don't get to pick what show we work on. You're kind of just handed a contract, and you work on the show, So
Yeah.
I as much as I worked on a couple cool shows that I ended up liking a little bit or something, you don't get to pick and choose. Like I have friends that worked on Rick and Morty and stuff like that. But it was like, as much as it's a fan favorite show, there was a lot of problems on the back end with how
Yep.
like, the employees were getting treated and stuff like that. So it's like,
Yeah.
you don't get to pick.
Yeah.
But everything that I've worked on, I have that I'm allowed to say I have listed. So
Yeah. Yeah, and they say too, as far as like building your portfolio goes, it is important that you put things that you enjoy in there. You don't want to get hired for something you don't want to do.
yeah, if you're a jack of all trades kind of person, that's not gonna, if you're making a portfolio, you have to focus on, if you're a jack of all trades, make separate portfolios for each of the things you want to work on,
Yeah.
And like, because if you want to be a storyboard artist, they're not going to care if you have character design in your portfolio. They want to see your board work.
Yeah.
So, and vice versa. So I have not updated. I don't have an updated demo reel or whatever. I have like a resume.
Yeah.
That's been updated, but I don't have an updated actual animation reel with any of the work I've done, because as soon as I got a job, the first initial job I got, I never had to update my portfolio because I had formed relationships with the people I worked with, and I didn't I didn't decide to like jump studios to have to redo that.
Yeah.
So they already knew the work I was capable of, so I didn't have to make a demo reel. If I ever had to, for some reason, start studio work again, I would have to start emailing people to say, hey, can I use this in my demo? Do you have the files? I can, because I didn't save a lot of it. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And do you have any advice as far as I guess, okay, actually let me back up for a few seconds. I have a few questions. Okay.
Sure.
So one, what are your whole thoughts on the jack of all trades versus master at one? What do you feel like is bound to get you hired, or like, yeah, I guess what do you think about both of those paths?
If you're a jack of all trades, I would still advertise yourself to what you want to do, because obviously you're still gonna have a thing you're better at than everything. I will say that if you start with something, you can always test for, say like I got a lot of people I worked with, you start in layout, you start in key character layout. That's what they're hiring the most for. That's what they hire people right out of school for most of the time. Storyboarding is a little more tricky to get into. They'll usually take people that are already in the industry and stuff, but if you say you start as a layout artist and you want to move to boards, they'll give you a board test to test for.
Oh, cool.
And then, I know people that have moved from different departments in that aspect, because they wanted to do boards instead. I myself probably wouldn't want to do boards. At first I was like, I want to do boards because boards get a little more recognition, like your name in the thing, rather than like animators even.
Yeah.
But boards is like really rough, and for me, I'm like, I like seeing my work be there on the screen.
Yeah.
Not like
the pre-phase. Yeah.
Yeah. So I like I like having my name, and I could point at a scene and be like, I did that.
Yeah.
Like, you see what I did, my work there.
Right.
But I would say that, I would say pick what you want to, one thing at a time. Like, you're not gonna, when you get the job and you're a jack of all trades, you're not going to be doing everything. You're going to be focused on that one department.
Yeah. Do you think working in the industry as soon as you did helped you figure out what you wanted to do as far as your creative path goes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say, I think if the pandemic never hit, I might not be at this point.
Yeah.
I'd probably still be working full time. Um, and I couldn't, there wasn't the ability to work from home as much since before the pandemic. They wanted in studio people more than anything. And there's still certain studios, like the one I'm at is smaller, and they get tax benefits from the government for employing people in the province.
Yeah.
So that's why when I decided to take this course of like moving back home and being my own, that's one of the main reasons I'm not working there full time, is because they can't really employ me full time.
Yeah.
If I want to move back home, but I can still have the ability to work with them or even work freelance at some point in the future if I have to. I don't want to.
Yeah.
Because there's many problems with I would say the industry and how it treats certain individuals, certain like the hierarchy of like, executives and stuff and everything, or credit being taken, or
Yeah.
like companies, abusing workers in other countries, mainly like the Philippines and stuff. Not necessarily abusing, but like they underpay them, overwork them, and they don't get the credit they deserve. I think that's also part of the reason why I left, because I don't want to be like, I don't want to.
You don't want to fuel into that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want like, and it sucks because it's like you can't really do anything.
Yeah.
Like, it's been like this for years. But I like that I can take my own agency now and I have my own thing I can do, and I don't have to rely on a contract from a studio to get my paycheck.
Yeah.
People are paying me for my own work.
Yeah.
And not the work I can do for them, kind of thing. So
yeah, and I think that's the goal for a lot of creatives is, how can we find a way to be creatively free so you can make what you want on your own terms and not have to settle for other people's morals or whatever they're deciding to do. Yeah, absolutely. Wow, I didn't know all that went on in the industry too, so it's really cool to hear your perspective. Thank you for sharing that.
I've had very good experiences. Like,
yeah,
I think I've heard a lot of horror stories from either friends or friends of friends, or other people that are employed. But everyone I've worked with, I've been lucky. I would say I've dodged every bullet. I think has happened to other people.
Yeah.
So, but my experience is, as much as it could be the norm, there's a lot that needs addressing, and I think things are coming. I think there's a studio, Titmouse recently has been unionized in Canada. Like,
awesome.
We don't have unions in the animation industry in Canada.
Wow.
But Titmouse recently unionized. So, which is a very good step in the right direction, I would say.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And can you, because
more.
Yeah, no, I agree. And it's frustrating too. Like, I don't understand, like, I personally have never understood how like certain people get to the top of the like funnel that are like the directors, but they like don't understand the actual process of creativity. I don't understand how that happens.
It's a lot of, the normal, like, it really depends, because there's plenty of talented people that works their way up, right?
Yeah.
But there's still, there's still sexist things, like the whole thing of the Harvey Weinstein back with actors and everything.
Absolutely.
Like, there's still poopy people in these.
There we go.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, there's still these kinds of people that are in those positions that take advantage or do, things that they shouldn't be doing. And I've been lucky that I haven't had to see any of those kinds of people.
Yeah.
So,
and you can't completely stop that, unfortunately, but like, and because it happens, I'm sure, in most, like, every industry, but you do the best you can. Right.
It's literally in every industry, or if you've ever had a job.
Yeah.
If you've ever had any kind of job, so.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Spats, for your insight so far on more of your experience in the animation industry, as well as being a freelance creative Twitch streamer. We will continue our interview with Spats on the next episode. See you guys next time. Bye!